Cronkite Sports Live. He's Jack Harris. I'm Rob Werner, and thanks for spending a little part of your day with us. Jack, on this show today, we got a lot of ASU teams right on the bubble of making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you know, they say the holiday season is the best time of the year. This might be the most stressful for college athletes. You got bracket watch, bubble watch, and I'm here for it all, man.
Just a week ago, though, ASU season reached new heights after the Sun Devils knocked off Arizona for the first time in Coach Bobby Hurley's tenure. But then, last night happened. An unthinkable 91-70 loss to sputtering Washington State at home. More than just a turbulent moment for the Sun Devils, the upset might have put them into a nosedive. Our Alex Gall was at the disaster site and has more.
About everything that could go wrong did go wrong for the Arizona State Sun Devils as they dropped to Washington State on Thursday evening. It was a lackluster offensive performance from the Sun Devils as they shot just 5 of 33 from deep.
I don't think we overlooked them. I just think we didn't play well. Like I said, if you look at our shooting percentages, we didn't make shots by any means. Like I said, it's kind of tough when you dig yourself a hole like that and you're playing catch up the entire game.
The Cougars were paced by the Pac-12's leading scorer, Robert Franks, as he torched the Sun Devils all night long, hitting deep ball after deep ball and ending up with 34 points on the night.
You can't give that type of space to like a guy like Frank, especially if he had it going. You can't beat the teams that we've been able to beat, and then you know, a team that hasn't won a road game in their season comes in and beats you at this stage of the season. It's you can't have that go on. You can't across the board in so many different categories be inept in a basketball game and expect to have any chance to win.
After falling to the Cougars on Thursday, Arizona State does have a chance to rebound on Saturday as they welcome in the Washington Huskies and their zone defense to Wells Fargo Arena. But for now, in Tempe, Alex Gall, Cronkite Sports.
Yeah, well, at least one ASU basketball team beat Washington State last night. While the men were getting trounced in Tempe, the Sun Devils women's team pounced on the Cougars in Pullman, 61-46, to improve to 16-6 on the season as they chase an NCAA tournament bid. For more on the team, we welcome in reporter Gabrielle Ducharme. Gabby, this women's team, you got 2 seniors, Kiana Ibis, Courtney Ekmark. They've been so good for the Sun Devils this year. What has been their impact?
Well, honestly, Courtney Ekmark and Kiana Ibis both have really just contributed a lot to this veteran squad in which not only Arizona State, like they beat up on U of A about a week ago, and Ekmark and Ibis both really gave some great veteran leadership for the Sun Devils. They're really going to be looking down the stretch now to both of their star seniors. They're both averaging over 10 points a game, leading the team in scoring. So they're really going to be huge for the Arizona State Sun Devils as they go into Pac-12 play and beyond.
Yeah, well, 7 games left in the conference slate for ASU before the Pac-12 tournament. How are you expecting the rest of the regular season to play out?
Well, I'm expecting the rest of the regular season to play out a lot better than the first half did. Arizona State's going to have 3 huge games coming up against both the Oregon schools and up against Stanford University. All of those games are going to be huge tests to see whether or not Arizona State is really ready to win that elusive Pac-12 championship they so greatly crave and possibly get a berth to the Final Four.
Yeah, so let's say that ASU does make the tournament for a 6th straight year, and if they do, what's it going to take to get to the Final Four, like you're saying?
Well, what it's going to take is for them to play consistently on both the offensive and defensive ends of the basketball court during every single game. From here on out, it's a must-win situation for this specific Arizona State women's basketball team. They need to play consistent not only from the three-point line, but they also need to play consistently on the defensive end of the ball, making sure that they're staying on their man and that they're locking down.
Well, be sure to head over to cronkitesports.com to keep up with all of Gabby's work as ASU heads down the stretch in a competitive Pac-12. For more on the conference, here's Evan Desai with this week's Impact.
Thanks, guys. NCAA women's basketball is in the back end of Pac-12 play, and with so many solid teams at the top end of the conference, a lot could be happening this month that will have a strong impact on the NCAA tournament coming up in March. Oregon leads the competition as the 3rd best team in the country and is the only undefeated team in the conference right now. Their in-state rival in Oregon State is another top 10 team who has won their last 4 Pac-12 outings after a double overtime loss at home to Arizona State. They've only lost that 1 game within their conference, though, in 3 total. 2 other teams with 3 total losses are Stanford and Utah, who are 4th and 5th in the conference, respectively. Stanford comes in at number 11 in the country, and Utah at number 17. Arizona State is that 5th team and ranked 20th in the nation. The rest of the pack is confusing, though. UCLA does not look all too threatening, but has won their last 4 games. A few teams look good early on, but struggled in Pac-12 play, such as Colorado, who went 10-1 to start the year, but have since lost all 10 Pac-12 games. Either way, though, the Pack should be pretty well represented in the tournament come March. Back to you guys.
Yeah, for all the drama on the hardwood, it isn't just the ASU basketball teams that are on bubble watch right now. The Sun Devils men's hockey squad went on the road last week and swept RIT in upstate New York to improve to 19-10-1 on the year, and more importantly, move up to number 8 in the pairwise rankings, the only metric used by the NCAA to select its 10 at-large bids to the NCAA tournament. It sets up Coach Greg Powers' side for an interesting finish to the season. ASU is off this weekend before hosting American International next week and finishing its regular season with a 2-game series at Minnesota at the beginning of March. Then, ASU is going to have to wait, and wait, and wait. Selection Sunday isn't until 3 weeks after its regular season finale. If the Sun Devils take care of business in its final pair of series, it could be a very anxious few weeks next month as they try to become the first independent program to make the tournament since 1992.
Now to football? Yeah, it's time for football. At least that's what Herm Edwards believes. His team began spring practices this week, marking ASU's earliest spring ball ever by about 6 weeks. Jack Lauderay has been out at practice and has the latest updates on this team.
Thanks, Rob. ASU football is back in action with the first week of spring practice coming to a close. But this year, there's a different feel around the program. The first major shift is a medley of transfers that have taken place over the offseason. The most recent wave came last week when defensive linemen Darius Slade and Jalen Bates, along with wide receiver Terrell Chapman, announced their decision to transfer from the program. The three joined the likes of J.J. Wilson and Michael Sleep Dalton, who transferred earlier in the offseason. The other major storyline of the spring is the search for a new quarterback after former quarterback Manny Wilkins finished out his final season. 4 quarterbacks are now fighting to take his place. The leader of the pack is redshirt junior Dylan Sterling Cole, who has been with the team since 2016. He will be competing with 3 freshmen for the starting spot. These quarterbacks include 4-star recruit Jaden Daniels, 3-star recruit Ethan Long, and 4-star recruit Joey Yellen. All 4 quarterbacks will be competing all spring long to earn the reps and respect from the coaches and potentially lock down the starting spot. Another big opening in the depth chart is the wide receiver 1 position, which was held by N'Keal Harry. Look out for seniors Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Williams to carry that heavy load. With these storylines and more, ASU football season is shaping up to be an interesting one. Back to you guys.
Last season's Women's College World Series feels like it was eons ago, thanks to an ASU softball offseason that had more unexpected twists and turns than a Hollywood thriller. Ace pitcher G. Juarez transferred from the program. The rest of the pitching staff is completely new, and yet, with 8 regulars back from last year's team, ASU is ranked 12th in the preseason poll. The plot to Game of Thrones might have been more predictable than the last 8 months for the Sun Devils. But now they're back, with Coach Trisha Ford hoping her 3rd year in charge ends the way last season did, with the Sun Devils making a trip to Oklahoma City to play for a national championship.
Kajikawa is obviously covered by the Pac-12 network, which has been huge for us the last couple of years, and just has brought a lot more awareness to this great tournament, great weather, and obviously our facility and great softball. They're tired of practicing. Coaches always want to practice and they want to play. So, no, I'm excited. I mean, it'll give us a good gauge of where we're at, and we're in a good place. I think we'll be very, very competitive. I'm very confident that we'll come out and compete. And so I'm ready to kind of I'm going to see what they got. So I'm excited. I mean, I think this weekend, just because it's opening weekend, we have Florida, I believe, coming in next week. We have JMU and Michigan also coming in. We're playing A&M, Nebraska, Oklahoma State at Mary Nutter. So, I mean, pick your poison, There's probably 10 solid teams before we even get to Pac-12 play. So just go out and play and have fun and enjoy it. So it'll all fall into place.
From the diamond to the water, we head to ASU swimming. The men's swim team has lost consecutive matches handily, both to Pac-12 foes in Cal and Sanford, and the Sun Devils will next head to Tucson this weekend for a showdown against Arizona. We now welcome in ASU swim expert Jacob Werner to break down the latest with this team. And Jacob, Junior, Cameron Craig was someone ASU was expecting big things from this year, but Grant House has really stepped up for ASU this year. What has he done so well?
It's been a big year for House, and especially like you mentioned in the absence of Cameron Craig. I mentioned him earlier on in the Cronkite Sports Live season. He was going to be a big player for these Sun Devils, out of the roster now due to personal issues, but like we said, Grant House has stepped it up. He's been massive for the Sun Devils, putting together a phenomenal season, tops in both the Pac-12 and the NCAA in terms of times and swims. It's been a big year for Grant House. The Devils couldn't have asked for much more, especially in the absence of last year's superstar, Cameron Craig.
And while this team is coming off of back-to-back losses, this team is ranked 16th in the nation. What's gone well for the Sun Devils this season?
It's been a weird ranking, and I'm glad you mentioned it. They're actually ranked 5th right now in the Pac-12 conference, but like you said, 16th in the nation, and that's rare. Pac-12 conference in swimming right now has been incredibly strong. They are tops in the college circuit right now. You got Cal, you got Stanford. They came to ASU last week and put a number up on the Sun Devils, but Devils talent has been superb this entire season. They've put together a campaign that has vaulted them up to number 16 in the nation. Couldn't have asked for much more from those Sun Devils.
So ASU is going to head to Tucson to take on Arizona in the Territorial Cup. What do they have after that?
Territorial Cup next week in Tucson, like you said, and then directly after that, it is championship season. February 27th and March 2nd, it's Pac-12 Men's Diving Championships, followed directly by Pac-12 Men's Swimming Championships from March 6th to March 9th. NCAA Zone E Diving Championships following that on March 11th to March 13th. And then finally the big one, NCAA Championships, March 20th to March 30th. That's the one these Sun Devils are looking forward to. That's the one everybody wants to be swimming in.
Expert analysis in the pool. For more of his work, head on over to cronkitesports.com. Now to one of ASU's most impressive teams, let's talk gymnastics. The Lady Gym Devils are currently ranked 19th in the nation and already boast 2 ranked wins over opponents in 2019. Jay Santos is in his 3rd year leading the team and has bright stars like sophomore Kyra Leonard-Baker. There are high expectations for the squad, and with Kyra Leonard-Baker, a second-team All-Pac-12 honoree, she scored a 9.975 on bars at UCLA, the first time since 2007 a Gym Devil scored that high on any event. This weekend, ASU hosts number 24 Stanford in this team's 3rd home match of the season.
Opening day for ASU baseball is nearing when the Sun Devils kick off their 2019 season next Friday against Notre Dame. Again, that's next week. Until then, there is still some time for us to have a little bit of fun with the team in the final days of the offseason. So we threw them into the ring of fire.
Basketball. I played basketball growing up, and that was fun for me. I love basketball.
If I could play another sport, it'd probably be golf. Just because I've grown up playing golf other than baseball. That was the other main sport, so definitely golf.
Probably wrestling. I grew up a wrestler, so yeah, probably wrestling.
I would consider a sport, but like professional fishing.
I gotta go with football probably, just because I grew up playing football too and I enjoyed it. So.
I love fishing, I love outdoors stuff, and my cousin's a professional fisher, and it's just like, I feel like it'll be fun.
Worst answer.
Worst dancer is probably me. I'm not too good.
Worst dancer, probably me. Just can't dance in white.
Probably Trevor Hopper.
I gotta say Alec Marsh freshman year. I say it was bad.
Definitely Miles dancer.
The worst dancer, Hunter Bishop.
Bishop, I feel like Bishop thinks he's like one of the best dancers.
You know, I'm pretty famous for my dance moves.
He does the same exact dance move every single time.
Start it off, we throw it up, we catch it, and you bring it down.
You might be down there. That's a tough one.
Sam Ferry, he knows how to live.
Oh, Louis from Hawaii.
Probably Boyd Vanderkoy, because he's kind of outdoorsy. He's a hunter.
Boyd Vanderkoy. I feel like he'd have the best like survival skills for sure.
Trevor Hopper, because I mean, if we weren't gonna make it, at least I'd be laughing the whole time.
That's a coin flip between my roommates Gage Richmond and Trevor Hopper. Just because we literally make each other laugh 24/7. I think it'd be fun. So one of those two I can't pick.
That's what I want.
Probably a thumbs up one.
Oh, use me emoji, but you know, that's stern, you know, the good one.
I don't know. The straight face one is the serious guy.
The angry face emoji.
I'm gonna go with like the angry face emoji with the eyebrows pointing down. He's doing it right now. Skip.
Oh god.
Let's see.
I'm drawing a blank here.
I don't know. I'm not like the person to ask that question. It's more position players.
What are you doing? We gotta be better. He'd probably be like, Workman, go shag balls or something. I don't know.
So you got the bucket hat, you know, the big brim hat, and you go, move the baseball, 2 strikes, move the baseball, let's go. Something like that.
All right, we're going to keep the good times rolling down and welcome aboard our social media expert, Michael Gutnick, for the best, the worst, the ridiculous, the hilarious of social media the last week. Michael, what do you got?
Well, thanks. I'm so glad to be here. First off, obviously doing hockey, but I'm putting on the social media cap today. So we're going to first go off to women's lacrosse. And just today, they tweeted this out. It was Steph Curry, obviously playing the Suns tonight here. And check this out right here. A little bit of lacrosse moves right there. And guys, what do you think? Can they put this to use in the NBA?
Just a little spin move, like he's coming down the lane here, but he does have to watch for traveling. I'll say that. Not that stars like him get called for traveling very often, but you're the Warriors fan here, Rob. So what do you think?
I think the traveling thing is a little more directed at James Harden, but he's working on dribbling there. He's being a nice NBA player, showing his affection for some college athletes that are doing their thing. So kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes, and now I couldn't come on, of course, without bringing some hockey. So these next 2 tweets are courtesy of Sun Devil Hockey. And, of course, this Sunday was just the Super Bowl, and Boston native Joey DeCourt, this is the goaltender for the Sun Devils. This was his reaction, of course, to the Patriots winning. So, guys, what was your reactions to the Super Bowl?
My reaction was about opposite of that. It was a pretty boring game, pretty boring halftime show, not a lot of great commercials. So, yeah, not quite as excited as he was, for sure. I
was certainly expecting a little more from the Super Bowl in terms of offense. We didn't really see that. My face kind of going away from it was kind of just, I just was a little bored.
I love the commercials, love the halftime show. Great overall. Now, this final tweet is also coming from Sun Devil Hockey, and this one is, you're going to see here, it's when they played RIT on the road. And check out their arena. They have this whole broadcast set up, and they even tagged us in this post here. And, of course, ASU is going to be getting a new hockey arena in 2020. Now, what do you guys think would be a great addition to have as the broadcast setup in the arena?
Yeah, I think this would be awesome. I think, maybe we should even just move the desk we use for this show, break it down. Maybe Rob can take it over to Tempe, set it back up so we can do a live show from Tempe. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'm a tough little person, so I might be able to, but I don't want to because then we would have nothing to broadcast from here.
Well, you can bring it back if you broke it down the first time. Right. No issue.
I don't know if I want to do that, but Michael, thank you very much. We're going to stick with hockey, and one of the defining characteristics of ASU's women's hockey team is their class. It has 1 senior, 2 sophomores, and 11 freshmen. As they head toward the final stretch of games this season, one of those freshmen is starting to stand out. Troy Taucher has the story.
After naming 4 alternate captains at the beginning of the season, Arizona State women's hockey head coach Lindsay Ellis waited to award a C until last week. Senior Casey McGinley and freshman Danielle DuPont were named captains, and for DuPont, it puts her in a position that's rare for players of her experience level.
Those 2 are consistently working hard, following team rules, on time for everything, and we just kind of needed to switch those things up to be able to, show all of our other players what they need to be, basically.
DuPont's hockey career started with her brother at age 13, and she eventually moved on to play with a AAA team in Dallas. Her pursuit of hockey required quite a bit of travel until she eventually found her way into a Sun Devils uniform.
Teams that I had were far away, and so I could only play tournaments with them until 2 years ago. We moved to Calgary, and I got to play in Calgary, so I actually got to play with the team. That was nice.
DuPont has 14 points so far this season and has been the first-line center for most of ASU's games. But the most notable thing about her game is her breakaway speed on the ice.
It honestly takes a lot of work. because you don't just naturally have any of those skills. Like everyone out there, if they've got something they're good at, and everything that anyone brings to the team is through their own work ethic, their own work ethic.
As Arizona State continues to move forward with its large freshman class, the new captain has certainly made herself stand out from the group. Reporting from Oceanside Ice Arena, Troy Tauscher, Cronkite Sports.
Cronkite Sports will be broadcasting the women's hockey game tonight at 7:30. You can watch it on the Walter Cronkite Sports Network Facebook page. And now, Jack, one of my favorite segments on this show, The Way It Is. We ask each other a few questions, debate the answers, and then our executive producer in the studio lets us see who picks who wants to rant.
Let's go. I think I'm feeling good today, so why don't you start us off?
All right, so Jack, the ASU men's hockey team has really impressed this season, currently at number 8 in the pairwise rankings. With 4 more regular season games, does this team punch its ticket to the tournament?
You know, I really think they do. If they can take care of business at home next weekend, maybe get a sweep against AIC, and then go on the road and get a split against Minnesota, that might be enough. But it's gonna take a little while for them to figure it out until Selection Sunday. But I think they'll be in.
I think you're right. I do think this team is going to be in. I think they're going to go 3-1 in their remaining 4 games. I think a sweep this weekend against AIU, and then a split against Minnesota is what it's going to have to take for this team.
Okay, fair enough. So baseball, softball, opening day right around the corner for both programs. But I ask you, which team is going to make it back to their respective College World Series first?
I'm going to go with baseball, and that I think is going to be the unpopular opinion right now.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because of the recent struggles, but I think this program has the reputation that might allow it to get out of this rut it's been in a little quicker. Trisha Ford has had a great time so far with ASU softball, but a couple key players have left this season. I'm curious what this team looks like this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the team that was actually in the College World Series last season, not coming off 2 losing seasons. I know they lost players, but still a lot of momentum for Coach Ford in her first couple seasons in Tempe. I think they're going to get back there first.
So, Jack, what ends first? James Harden's consecutive stretch of 30-point games where the Suns end their 12-game losing streak. And that's not a joke because the Suns are playing the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Harden's streak. It is still going. I will say that the Suns will get a win before that streak ends. James Harden is playing so well right now. He keeps hitting those step-back threes. I think the Suns at some point are going to get out of their rut before Harden snaps his.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Harden ending his streak first. I think Wilt Chamberlain had a streak of 31 games in a row with over 30 points. I think that record is going to stand, and I don't think Harden's going to get to that record.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really tough. What he is doing right now is just so unprecedented for this era of basketball. Pretty mind-blowing.
If he doesn't win the MVP, I will just be absolutely shocked.
All right, well, I'll be pretty shocked if I don't win the way it is.
I'm feeling pretty good about it, though.
Yeah, I am on the 1-game winning streak for when we're anchoring out, but
there you go.
It's over.
All right. Something I've noticed in the past week: Arizona State fans are loud and passionate. They will certainly let players and coaches know when they've done something to capture their attention and hearts, and they'll also understandably get upset when teams underperform. For Athletic Director Ray Anderson, it seems to be different. I rarely hear positive remarks from ASU alumni, fans, or spectators who pay close attention to ASU for that matter. Maybe that should change. Anderson was heavily criticized for his bold hire of ASU football coach Herm Edwards, which seems like it might be working out after one season. Anderson is often blamed for ASU baseball's recent struggles with his hiring of Tracy Smith before the 2014 season. In Anderson's 5 years with the school, he's also hired Greg Powers to lead ASU's first Division I ice hockey team, and he hired Bobby Hurley, who has put ASU basketball back on the national landscape for the first time in decades. He's helped to reinstate ASU men's tennis with a personal donation of $1 million and leads softball back to the College World Series with his hiring of Trisha Ford. He's done too much good work for me to literally be able to list now. Maybe the most significant improvement has been the facilities he's helped enhance and create with ASU. Sun Devil Stadium was recently renovated. ASU recently unveiled a state-of-the-art batting facility at Phoenix Muni. There's plans to renovate Wells Fargo Arena and to create an adjacent facility for several sports, including hockey. Say what you want about Anderson, but he's made an impact at ASU that has brought the Sun Devil athletics to new heights. And that's the way it is.
Very true, Rob. I wish I had $1 million to throw around on sports teams. But this show, all right, I like to call this a glass half full show because despite ASU's basketball game last night, we found a highlight, and it comes courtesy of the freshman Luke Instort going up, slamming it down. Now, this was early in the game. Notice the score. 1-point game there. It would be a 17-point deficit by halftime. ASU loses by 21, but at least one good moment from the night.
And to number 2 we go. Gavito Janssens with a game-winning goal against RIT, clinching the sweep for the Sun Devils. Very big goal, very big moment as the Sun Devils, as we've been talking about, have a chance to clinch their run to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, well, ASU hockey could be making history. Kiana Ibis, she did make history last week against Arizona, scores her 1,000th career point, a huge accomplishment for the lifelong Sun Devil. It was also part of ASU's win over the Wildcats. They're in pretty good position, like we talked about on the show, to not only get to the NCAA tournament, but maybe even make a deep run in March. Kiana Ibis, a huge part of that. Congratulations to her for a really accomplished career.
And ASU got revenge in that game. They beat Arizona after having fallen to the Wildcats in Tucson earlier this season.
That's right. Well, it's a lot going on right now in ASU athletics. Like we talked about, a lot going to be happening the next couple weeks. We'll be back here, so just be sure you stay tuned with us.
And for everybody at Cronkite Sports Live, he's Jack Harris. I'm Rob Werner. Thanks so much for tuning in. Same time, same place next week. We hope you join us then.